I mean, look, let's address this question. What do you say about the children of people who have made bad economic decisions or have had bad luck, got sick, signed up for education in a field, that disappeared? I mean, I hope none of you is planning to be a travel agent or a photo enlarger. Those things are gone, and if you oriented your education towards that, you made a big mistake. Well, maybe you should pay for that mistake. But what about your kids who enter the market at a disadvantage compared to the kids of people who were luckier?
Steve,
right? How are you going to deal with that?
How are we going to deal with the children of parents who made really good decisions and benefited them, right? I mean, it seems to me that if there's some kind of case that one is problematic, then the other should be problematic too. But at the end of the day, it's parents who are in the best situation to judge what they believe is best for their kids. If they make mistakes, they make mistakes. We do, I think, have processes and mechanisms in civil society to help those who have fallen into that situation. I think that, that we also want to be sure to make sure we have an education system that offers even the children of the poor opportunities to improve themselves because perhaps their parents have made mistakes. But we can't prevent people from making mistakes, and we can't prevent those from having consequences for their children. The question then is sort of empirically, what do we do, right? How do we try to make sure that the kids of parents who have made those kinds of mistakes still have the best opportunities possible? I just don't believe that government is necessarily the best way to do that, and I think we've got sort of evidence to suggest that as well.
But look, I mean, you want to have better education. Well, it's going to be hard to do that without government. And you want to have some kind of system that helps those people who fall into a bad situation for reasons outside of their control. Maybe you can do that without government. I suspect you're going to need government for that. So I think, I think government is unavoidable. I'm suspicious of it myself, but I think just saying, well, something else will work better, maybe. It's highly speculative.
Then why do you think so many parents of poor kids are choosing to opt out of the public schools and want opportunities like school vouchers and school choice?
Well, the school vouchers are still provided by the government. I mean,
there's multiple ways you can do it.
Sure, but I mean, it's not going to come from the poor people's own money because they're poor. And so you're going to have to do it in some way that's mandated, and that's going to require you to use government. I'm not saying government is the best provider of education. I'm just saying government is very hard to do without, okay?
There's some interesting examples of places across the world, India, for example, that have opportunities for private schooling that poor folks are easily able to take advantage of. So I'm not so convinced that you can't get it done if you think creatively, and if the barriers
maybe. I think it's an empirical question, but one that I think raises the serious question of whether you can do without government at all. And let me just throw out one other thing. I'm sure we'll disagree about this at last, and that is, I don't see that it's so bad to take away some of the unfair advantages that rich kids get. What's wrong with that? I mean, I'm sorry about that because I know they'll be disappointed. But if we think that people ought to start off on a similar baseline, then make it happen. Why allow the bequeathing of millions of dollars from one generation to another?